Hello guys, this is me, Daniel96, back here for another video, and today we'll be making our grand final predictions of the 2024 AFL season. And just like that, we are into our last week of the season, and it's the biggest week of them all. But before we get into that, let's have a look at our prelim final tips. And it was better from last week, but I mean, this prelim had it all. I mean, yeah, wow, we especially the last game, but as you can see, we got 1 out of 2 tips correct, which is, I guess, better than the 0 that we got last week. But yeah, starting with this first game, I mean, Sydney, yeah, they were just all too good. I mean, you couldn't complain. They were just, as you would expect. Port were just out of form, and yeah, they didn't really look like they were in the game. And yeah, just like that, they're eliminated, and Sydney make their way to their first grand final since 2022. And then the game below, I mean, wowie, I did not see that coming, honestly. I mean, yeah, I tipped Brisbane to win, and they did win. And just the way that game was just played with such intensity, with such uncertainty, it was just great to watch. And honestly, I thought Geelong had it. They were up by a pretty big margin in the third quarter, and yeah, they lost it. I mean, yeah, this sport sometimes is just so great. And yeah, just like that, Brisbane are through and Geelong are gone. And as you can see, the predicted versus actual margins, and yeah, I guess it basically what I expected. I mean, the Brisbane game, the Geelong Brisbane game, I got really close, with 6 points being the margin. But yeah, in the other game, I did tip Port, and yeah, the margin in total was 42, so it wasn't great. But yeah, I'm happy with that Geelong Brisbane game, so we'll take that. And just like that, we have from 4 teams to 2 teams. So let's have a look at the grand final tips. So here we are into the grand final week and the last game of the season. And yeah, it's been a crazy season, but from 18 teams we go down to 2 teams, and those 2 teams definitely deserve a spot in the grand final. So without further ado, let's have a look at it. It's between Sydney and Brisbane, playing at the MCG on the Saturday 28th of September, starting at 2:30 PM local time. And yeah, honestly, I can't wait. This is the first interstate final, grand final, that we're having since 2006, and yeah, the 4th time ever since the AFL. And yeah, this is like a lot riding on this game, obviously. I mean, yeah, this is the biggest stage of them all. Brisbane, this is their 2nd grand final in a row. They did lose their last one last year against Collingwood, only by 4 points. So yeah, you definitely got to feel for them. And yeah, they have made their spot once again back in. So maybe this could be some revenge time, and maybe they could get one. And yeah, as for Sydney, I mean, they've been making finals often, like throughout the past decade. And yeah, even grand finals they've been making quite a few times throughout the decade. And yeah, they've only won the one, and that was in 2012. But since then, they've lost many grand finals, and their last one was in 2022, where they did lose to Geelong. It was a big smashing, that one. But these 2 teams are facing off each other for the grand final for the first time since 1899, and that was back when Sydney were called South Melbourne and when Brisbane were called Fitzroy. So I don't know if we're counting that one, but yeah, now they're interstate sides. And yeah, let's have a look at like what both teams have to offer. So starting with Sydney, I mean, they've had a pretty good run through the finals. I mean, their qualifying final was a thriller against GWS. You gotta wonder what would have happened if they lost, because if they did lose, they would have had to verse Brisbane in the semis in Sydney, and yeah, the grand final would have been much different. But yeah, they won against the Giants in thriller. Then they versed Port in the fortnight later, and yeah, smashed them. Simple win. And now the big chance. I mean, yeah, I feel like this could be their year. But think about it, they've only had 2 games to play to make it to the finals, whereas Brisbane had 3 games to play. This will be their 4th game. In some of the thrilling games, I mean, starting with the first one, Brisbane Carlton, that was a simple win. Everyone thought Brisbane were going to win, and they did. Then comes the semi-finals, and they were down by, oh yeah, they were down by 44 points, I think, and come back. I mean, yeah, that even after looking at that game, I wonder what would have happened. They literally came from the clouds just to win and make their spot to the prelim, where they go to Melbourne the next week, and also down by 25 points, come back again and win another thrilling final. I mean, they have been the team to watch in the past 10 weeks, really. I mean, they've had 2 losses against the Giants and Collingwood, but really, they've been on the consistent roll. And to help Brisbane, I mean, they played at Melbourne, well, last week. So really, they do have some experience there at the ground. And yeah, I mean, Sydney haven't played at the MCG since, it hasn't been a while. But yeah, this will be really interesting. I see this game as a win-win. I mean, can Brisbane win their first grand final since 2003? Or can Sydney finally break the hoodoo of their grand final losses and get themselves a win? I mean, this could go anywhere. And yeah, I am definitely tipping this one to be a close one. I feel like it'll be very similar to the grand final that we saw last year. I mean, you can see the odds. Sydney are starting in as favourites, and yeah, you can see why. But like, really, this is a 50-50 game. I don't like, really. Grand finals are funny because anything can happen, and with the atmosphere of 100,000 fans, yeah, there's gonna be a lot. So time to make my official tip for this final, this grand final, and yeah, I had a thought about this one. Really, it's gonna be really hard to tip, and I won't make a video updating on it until next year about how that tip goes. But yeah, this will be my official tip for this grand final. So yeah, let's get into it. I mean, where do we start? So my prediction is that Brisbane will be leading in the first half, most of the first half, or even throughout the second half a bit. So I think they'll be leading for most of the first part of the game. However, I do think that the Swans have just been a great side, and you know, they've handled the pressure really well. I mean, it shows what happened, I mean, a couple of weeks ago against the Giants, and really last week against Port. They can come back and they can go hard, and they are just a hard team to stop with their full side. So I think they will eventually come back and finally get themselves the premiership win, and that is exactly where my tip is gonna go. So I will, for this grand final, tip Sydney to get the win, and I'm gonna tip them to win by 15 points, and I am rating this game 100. I mean, come on guys, it's a grand final. I'm obviously gonna tip at 100. Yeah, may the best team win, and really, yeah, I can see Brisbane win this one. Just so you know, I can see Brisbane win this one, and yeah, I wouldn't be really surprised if they do win it. So yeah, I think this is a win-win. I mean, I would love to see both of them win, but only one has to win. So yeah, that is my tips for the 2024 AFL Grand Final. And just like that, that is my 2024 AFL tips done and dusted. You can see below how we went throughout the year. I mean, there's still one game to go, but we will finish with 63% right, which I think is pretty good. I mean, getting 63% tips throughout the 200 games, I mean, that's pretty good, I guess. But we don't really know. We'll definitely continue on with these tips next year. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching my tips, I guess. But I'll try to be better next year and see what I can do to make it better. But I will definitely not stop uploading my videos. So I will, in the next couple of days, upload my AFL 23 sim of this grand final and see what they think, or see who wins that game. I mean, I did it last year and Brisbane won, so yeah, who knows what this time will happen. But yeah, I'll post that video probably Wednesday, I guess. But then afterwards, I'll start posting my cricket videos again. I mean, I started last year, and now we're getting into the cricket season, so we'll continue on with that series. You can check out the playlist at the end credits. So yeah, that's basically it. I mean, yeah, I think Sydney will win the grand final, and yeah, best of luck to both the teams. So yeah, not much really here to say. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next time. Bye bye.